Bloco has been around for 10 years. Would you like to make a comment on that?
Well, the bloc was formed because of crisis in the left, and we managed to put together a number of forces and different opinions, including a number of people who had no political party but who were social activists and social fighters. And the left bloc had a strategy which we follow until now, when we go on following, which is to concentrate on the main political alternatives and issues, and to answer as a socialist left and popular left to the cries of liberalism and capitalism. So the most important development for the last 10 years is that the ideas and projects and alternatives put forward by the bloco are today widely discussed among the population, and they are very influential for generation of political activists.
How do you combine your parliamentary action with your involvement to the movement? How do you manage that?
Well, I think that parliamentary activity and representative is very important for the political force, because it allows us to confront the government and the political power and economic power in the main discussions, and to make clear that they have not a monopoly of the political representation and government, that we need a change and a break with the dominant political solutions which have been imposed to the country, to the European Union in general. And so what we do is to have the maximum information for the general public, and to discuss, to mobilize, and to create the social roots of a political movement, which are decisive in order to get to obtain a change in the society.
How do you see the results of the European election around Europe? Bloco has been the only European left party which has managed to get a strong percentage. Why do you think this has happened?
Well, it's very difficult to have a general interpretation, because of course the political situation in Greece has some peculiarities, and in Spain and in Portugal each country is different. I think that anyway the result of the European election were a defeat for the left forces, and were an incentive for the most aggressive social forces of the liberal alternatives. Nevertheless, they are in a big crisis, which is an ideological crisis and the social crisis, because the financial crash of the 2008 and 2009 and perhaps 2010 will create a huge number of victims, and so we need to address the social solutions for the deeper economic problems, which means to confront the capitalist solutions. And that, in that sense, a socialist political force which is active in the fight for democracy, for responsibility, for an alternative which we call justice in the economy, meaning against inequalities and against exploitation, is very important. That's why I think we got an important result in Portugal, and the left bloc is being developed as an alternative. But of course, in different countries, different traditions, different culture, and different political environment will imply different solutions other than what we do. And we are eager to learn as much as possible with other political parties in Europe in order to create common forces for this crisis.
So this leads me to my next question. Bloco participates both to the European and the capitalistic left and the party of the European left. They have quite different strategies and a lot of differences. What is the plan of Bloco by participating in both of them? Do you see there is a chance maybe those two come closer?
It's difficult to say nowadays. We need to have different social and political networks in Europe in which different left parties can interact. And each of the configurations you mentioned are small networks in that sense, and they are useful, but they are not what we need in Europe, which is a strong common body of political activities and of discussions and activity. A socialist force in Europe is needed. We need that. But of course, small steps are necessary in order to have a big alternative. So let's begin.
So we are in the middle of the severe capitalistic crisis. Which is the answer of Bloco to a left getaway of the crisis?
Well, we presented a plan for full employment, and because the employment is the main social issue, and we presented different alternatives from the economic and social point of view in order to fight poverty, because 1 in 5 Portuguese people is very poor. We concentrate on different levels of the social activity of the public services, because the main ideological debate is the function of the state, how public service should protect the national system of health or a national system of education against privatization and against the difference in inequalities which are imposed by the capitalist rule. So we presented this sort of alternatives in a very concrete way, so that people can understand that when they see on TV that the banker robbed the bank, this is not only someone who is very special, but is someone being a part of a system which is robbing and stealing the population.
Okay, and my last question. Bloco, in those 10 years, had set an example in the European left. Do you think that this example would be possible for other European left parties to be followed? And if yes, which way?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm certain that every defeat and every success sets different examples, and we should learn with the different conditions, and we should learn with the class struggle and political ideas and new ideas. But I'm very certain that in each country you need a peculiar configuration and political solution, because there is no general rule for different countries, for different conditions. What we need is to be very curious and to learn as much as possible, and to understand good ideas, strong ideas. We are not anymore in the epoch of the pensiero debole, of weak thought. We need very strong ideas on planning, on socialization, on public services, on public responsibility, on the social function of democracy, in order to get around public opinion and a social movement of youngsters and older people, of men and women, so that we can meet the challenge, which is the most difficult of the challenges, which is to fight the economic disaster and to fight the social rule of the bourgeoisie in Europe, which is so strong, so deep, and so dangerous for humanity.
Okay. So would you like to send a message to the Greek youth and after the December?
We were very impressed by the mobilization of the Greek youth. That was wonderful, and that was a wonderful example for everyone, because of the conductivity, because of the unity, because of the democracy, because of the imagination, and well, something was around of the spirit of the 68. In a better way, because it's more modern and more demanding, and so I hope Greeks can give us much more examples like that, because that's wonderful.
Thank you so much for your time.